I have been in love with Wild Magic Sorcery since I was a kid. I remember seeing it in 2nd edition, in the Tome of Magic, and it just scratched an itch. It was the concept of pure chaos magic. And there is so much new in this subclass. Such dramatic improvements have been made.
So right away, the thing that people will see, and you got to see a preview of this in Unearthed Arcana, is we have removed the element in this subclass that essentially required you to get DM permission to have your wild magic happen. Now you just get to use your class feature. Now, there's still a unpredictable side to it, which is a core part of this subclass's identity. But at least you now know that if the die rolls are kind to you, or unkind, depending on what you end up rolling, you know wild magic is going to happen, and you're always just waiting to find out when. So it now really is, it's just a question of when now, not if.
Yeah, because you can force its hand eventually.
Yes, which you could also do in 2014, but you have a bit more flexibility here, particularly because you can more easily get Tides of Chaos back than you could before.
Yeah.
And all of this means that you will be able to dip into this pool of chaos more reliably. So much so that when you get to level 18, we have a brand new feature for this subclass where you can, once per day, automatically trigger a wild magic surge.
Yeah.
And you get to choose what happens.
Yeah.
And that's why this new feature is called Tamed Surge, that by level 18, you have figured out how to tap into your wild magic so effectively that you can look at the wild magic surge table and just, I'll have that happen. Now, there are a couple of limits here. One is you cannot choose the final row in that table, because that final row has some really juicy options that you only gain access to if the dice give you access to them. We've also made it so that if you choose a row in the table that itself has a die roll in it, you have to still make the die roll within that row. Now, where the majority, though, of the new material in this subclass exists is not actually in the features we've talked about.
Yes.
It's in the table.
It's amazing.
So I'm glad you think so.
Complete game changer for wild magic sorcery.
In Unearthed Arcana, people got to see the new features for this subclass.
Yeah.
And there's great feedback, a lot of excitement about the new features. But in UA, people were still using the Wild Magic Surge table from 2014. And my goodness, is everyone in for a treat, because
it's amazing.
Because the table has been redesigned from top to bottom.
Yeah.
And it still involves rolling percentile dice.
Yeah, it's still chaos.
Oh, in some ways it's even more chaotic than it was before.
Because you have more rolls that can happen within this roll.
Yes.
Things can really pop off.
Because we perhaps, feeling a game design wild magic surge, we decided to introduce even more chaos into the table.
Yeah.
Because, yes, as you say, you could roll something that then causes you to roll something. and so there is almost this, it's like you're watching, like, okay, where's it going to end up? And we've packaged some of the options. So like all of the options that summon things are now together, and doing that now made room for us to introduce some brand new options. So you're not only going to see the options that were there remixed and moved around the table, there are brand new options here. Some are more powerful than options that were there before. Others lean into the whimsical side of the table. They're one of the options where if you get one of the rows and then you roll the die, you could even end up with a case that all of those options that transform the sorcerer could all hit the sorcerer at once.
Yeah.
And so there are just so many fun options here with so many different random possibilities because of the nested die rolls that Wild Magic Sorcerers are going to be the wildest they've ever been.
Previous Wild Surge tables have been a wee bit punishing. And certainly we still have, like, turning into a pod plan for a turn. That's still there. Being vulnerable to piercing damage. So things can go bad, but there's a lot more good, too.
Yes.
And so you channeling this Wild Magic Surge can cause something amazing and completely change an encounter. Maybe for the bad, but also for the good, and it does feel way more wild.
And one of our goals here was, to still have, there's that chance of something unwelcome happening.
He's setting everything on fire, you know?
Right. But we wanted to shift the balance of the table a bit, so it was a little less about, is something good or bad going to happen, and more about, there's a small chance something bad will happen, but most likely something cool will happen.
Yeah.
And then what the uncertainty is, okay, whatever cool is going to happen, how is that now going to affect all of our tactical choices? So we wanted it to be much more about the fun of it, the unexpected of it, and lessen a little bit the dread of it, but there is still dangerous possibility because it is still a core part of the Wild Magic identity that this could go very wrong.
And these potentials are basically, for all intents and purposes, it's extended spell list because all the other sorcerers get one, but this is a lot of different options for different spell-like effects that might occur depending on how you roll.
Yes. We've even had internal folks who look at the 4 subclasses and they were wondering, did you forget the Wild Magic Sorcerer's spell list? Because the other 3 subclasses have a spell list.
They are the spell list.
And oh no, we did not forget. It's this D100 table, which has many other spells nested inside it.
Yeah.
So yes, anyone watching this video, if you're looking for the Wild Magic Sorcerer's spell list, take a look at that table and you have found it.
There's another ability halfway in there that existed before where you can make 2 rolls on the Wild Magic Search table and choose which one you would prefer. So you have that progression of slowly getting a little bit more of the reins on chaos magic.
More reins on what is even more chaotic than it was before. And we did this not only for thematic reasons and for fun, but also because we made the change in the subclass itself that the sorcerer is going to be interacting with this table more often.
Yeah.
And because you're going to be interacting with this table more often, it was important to us that there be more possibilities.
Yeah.
Because we did not want you to sort of run through it too quickly.
Yeah.
And so that's one reason why as you found when you first looked through it for the first time, oh my goodness, is there a lot here?
Well, I finally get to use the big 100-sided die of mine. Thank you so much. I'm so excited for this sorcerer and all the subclasses.
Thank you.
When you pre-order the digital physical bundle, you also get an exclusive digital gold dragon mini for our 3D virtual tabletop, the Dragons of D&D digital art book, 15 dice sets, 34 frames, and 15 backdrops. And if you pre-order the digital 2024 Player's Handbook on D&D Beyond, you get exclusive bonuses. 12 sets of digital dice representing each class, 10 new frames, and 5 new backdrops. And all of those Player's Handbook bonuses are available right now on D&D Beyond. You can find the links to all of that in this video description.
Thank you so much for watching. We have a ton of video content coming out about the new Player's Handbook and all the new Core Rulebooks, the new Monster Manual, the new Dungeon Master's Guide. So be sure to check out all of that content. And thank you for watching.